થોડું નીચે કર.
ના બરાબર છે. કેમ નીચે કરું?
So you can go live. Okay. So we start our question and answer sessions, and feel free to ask anything that is related to homeopathy and whole food plant based diet for lifestyle disorders and even more. So, as the master Dr. Samuel Hahnemann has already said, that it is important to understand the nature of the disease before we treat, having a thorough knowledge of the disease. So, largely, the lifestyle disorders like diabetes type 2, hypertension, high cholesterol, ischemic heart disease, PCOS are all diseases very, very closely, even obesity, closely related to what we eat, how we exercise, how much we exercise, what kind of exercise we do. These are very closely related to this. Therefore, before we establish an effective medical treatment, we will find that change in lifestyle, mind you, I am using the word change in lifestyle. I am not using the word diet. A change in lifestyle is the way we eat, the way we choose our food, the way we prepare our food, and the kind of exercise that we do, the kind of stresses that we handle, all this circle becomes lifestyle. And it is important that we make a change in our lifestyle, which means a long term change in the way we choose food, a long term change in the way we prepare food, a long term change in the activity that we do, a long term change in the food timings that we are used to. So, when I talk about whole food, plant based diet, what do I mean by this? So, let us understand the term whole food. The term whole food means the food that is not broken down, which is not broken into fragments. So, what are the foods commonly that we encounter are broken into fragments? The first, foremost, most common you will find is our cooking oil. The cooking oil is fragmented, it is not whole. The other thing that we most commonly see is refined wheat flour, what we call maida. The third most commonly encountered fragmented food is sugar. Each of this part, each of these three things are a fraction of the total whole of the plant. The sugar is an end product of processing of sugarcane. Several steps before we obtain the sweet molecule, the sweet grain of sugar that large number of us are addicted to. Then we talk about refined wheat flour or maida. For that matter, even uh, rava is a refined food. So, what happens when we eat refined food, and what is the advantage of eating whole food? Whole food includes, yes, why do I forget this? Most importantly, the most commonly refined another food is our white rice. The whole grain of the rice, which normal the whole grain rice is what we normally find as red rice, brown rice, or black rice. The fiber of this whole grain is completely removed when we come down to white rice. Same way as we talk about sugarcane, a small part, fraction of the whole plant, the sugarcane is extracted. Same way when we talk about maida, the wheat is processed, the fiber is extracted out, and what is served to us. So, the importance of the fiber is immense. What is the role of the fiber in our diet? The most simple understanding of the fiber is it gives you a sense of satiety, a sense of satisfaction. Foods that you eat without the fiber, the refined processed food, do not give us a sense of satiety. Which means, if you, for example, consume 100 grams of maida and 100 grams of whole wheat, the level of satisfaction that eating 100 grams of maida will give you versus the satisfaction and fullness, and 100 grams of whole wheat that gives you is completely different. The human body requires a sense of satisfaction in the diet. And to achieve the same level of satisfaction, fullness, with a refined food, you will need much more quantity of refined food to achieve that sense of satisfaction, which translates into consuming much more calories which are not required by the body. And remember, you do not eat just a refined flour. You, along with the refined flour, for example, the white bread that you eat is a classic example of maida, refined wheat. Do you ever eat a slice of bread by itself? No. You normally put on butter, you would put on some sauces, you would maybe put on paneer. So instead of taking two or three slices of bread to achieve a level of satisfaction, you will want to have six or eight slices. And Each time the slice is going to be topped with all these additives. So the amount of calories that you consume is huge. The second very important property of the fiber is in prevention of cancer, colonic cancer. It is quite a well established fact that people eating less fiber are more prone to colonic malignancy. So, this is as far as the fiber in the food is concerned. Then we take up the next part. The next part is plant. Vis-a-vis what we have on daily basis is our food, even if you are a vegetarian, includes quite a bit of animal products. The commonest animal products, which now I will call dairy products, in a vegetarian diet are milk, paneer, cheese, ghee, cream, and butter, and all the buttermilk and lassi, all derivatives, curd too, come from this dairy in a vegetarian diet. In a non vegetarian diet, of course, the animal part is quite obvious. So, what impact does having animal protein or animal food have on the human body? One of the biggest culprit of diabetes type 2, heart disease, polycystic ovarian syndrome is insulin resistance. And this dairy product increase our insulin resistance. So what is insulin resistance? If we try to understand, it is when the insulin is secreted by the pancreatic cells, it is supposed to attach itself on the muscle fiber, thereby opening channels which will allow blood sugar, which is freely floating in our blood, extra of it, to be shifted into the muscle and stored as glycogen. This mechanism is very important to keep our blood sugars under control. Also, when this mechanism fails, that means the insulin is not allowed or insulin is not effective when it is attached to the muscle cell. So when the insulin is no more effective in attaching itself to the muscle cell and opening the channels to mobilize blood sugar into the muscle cell, in that situation what will happen is you will need a larger quantity of insulin to be secreted by the pancreas to achieve the same blood sugar level. This is in the early stage. So it is like there is an obstruction in the water pipe of your house. There are two ways we can work through this obstruction is increase the water pressure by increasing the quantity of water flowing through the same pipe in a hope that we will be able to overcome the resistance. For few years this certainly is possible, but over a period of time the pancreas burn out, thereby keeping your blood sugars high, what we commonly understand as diabetes. The same insulin resistance plays a role in ischemic heart disease. The same insulin resistance plays a role in polycystic ovarian disease. So one of the way to reverse this insulin resistance is giving up on dairy products and increasing your exercise levels, thereby stimulating the muscle, activating the muscle. So, insulin resistance can be reversed to a very large extent, though there are genetic factors involved in insulin resistance. But in spite of the genetic factors involved in insulin resistance, eating a whole food, plant based diet can overcome large amount of insulin resistance, thereby reversing a large amount of lifestyle disorders. In fact, if you look at my channel in the videos, I must have made one of the videos on insulin resistance. It would be worth seeing. So, two important solutions to reverse your insulin resistance is shift to a plant-based diet, give up on animal products and dairy products, and the second part is exercise. These two can be done and do not require any drugs or any medication also. So this is what I understand as any uh, as whole food plant-based diet. So some correct. So the question comes, any examples where plant-based diet has complemented homeopathic medicines? Yes. So in cases of diabetes where patients have been able to follow a whole food plant-based diet, we are able to achieve a better sugar control. Blood pressures also can come down with a whole food plant-based diet. Obesity also reduces with whole food plant-based diet. There's a general sense of well-being with this diet, and it is very easy to follow once you overcome the habit of eating refined food. Because when you are out to choose the food, the filtration is very clear. what you have to eat and what you have to avoid. Okay, then the most common question that I encounter is, what about vitamin B12? So, our clinical experience and ample experience tells us that B12 deficiency is so widespread, even in vegetarians, even in people who are taking non vegetarian food. Because B12, the only source it is said is of animal products. But there are also plant based sources of vitamin B12 available now. Nevertheless, our recommendation for everybody is to periodically check your B12 levels and to take supplements. This is true even if you are not following a plant based diet. Then comes another question, very common question: what about vitamin D3? Vitamin D3 also has the same story as vitamin B12. The deficiency is so prevalent, it is so prevalent even in vegetarians, even in non vegetarians. This is largely because of our metabolism, our lifestyle that we are living, the urban lifestyle that we are living, consumes vitamin B12 at a very rapid rate. In many, many enzymatic reactions, many metabolic processes happen under the influence of vitamin D3. That is why replacement of vitamin D3 is also equally important. So these are common fears or common questions that are put when I ask my patients to shift to a plant-based, whole food plant-based diet. If you have some questions, please feel free to put up in the chat box. I can take them up and answer some of these questions. It would be interesting to interact. Do we have some questions in Instagram? So do put up some questions so we can discuss some another dimension of this diet. Okay. So till you all think of this question, I will. How long should one follow the recommendation? The point is very simple. That is why I don't say that these are prescribed diets. No, this is I'm not talking about a prescribed whole food plant-based diet. No, that is not my recommendation. My recommendation is lifestyle change. When we talk of lifestyle change, I again will say that it is a fundamental shift. So we find a lot of non-vegetarians shifting to vegetarianism. A lot of non-vegetarians also shift to a plant-based, whole food, plant-based diet. So the question then comes, sustaining the diet for a long period of time. So let me ask a lot of my vegetarian friends, or for that matter, let me ask my non-vegetarian friends. If you are a vegetarian, do you ever want to go and eat anything that is non vegetarian that you have not eaten since your childhood? Largely, by and large, the answer is no. Yes, I'm sure there would be some who would make that shift. The other side, for those who are non vegetarian, if I ask them that you shift to a vegetarian diet, let alone whole food plant based diet, for them also this is difficult. So that is the building block. But with effort, with support, very, very important when it comes to diet. Disconnected. What is very, very important is community support, forming support groups, because food is a collective phenomenon. We eat together, right? We rarely eat alone. We eat with our friends, we eat with our family. So the family support is supremely important. So let me tell you my personal experience. I I have shifted to a whole food plant based diet for almost nearly more than a decade. So my experience that I share is there are two factors that will deter you from staying to this whole food plant based diet. Whatever you are, whether you are a vegetarian or whether you are a non vegetarian. The first is your personal craving. Say, for example, those who are eating sugar, refined sugar that I'm talking about, will, after a period of no sugar, will start craving for sugar. And at a point of time, this sugar craving is so compelling that it is difficult for the person not to have sugar. Nevertheless, it is possible for one with support to not give in to the sugar craving. This phase of sugar craving will last for few weeks, after which the craving settles and you no more need that sugar. This is very important to understand that the craving will come and go. This understanding will help you tide over the craving in the initial days. The second thing is your environment, friends, family, who will always want to offer you sugar, sweet, and they will always say, take a little, it's okay. इतना खाने से क्या होगा? Now, this is the point where you don't give in. Because moment you taste that little bit of sugar, it triggers off the memory of the sweetness of the sugar. This memory is what we have to wipe out. And the only way to wipe out this memory is to completely abstain from smallest quantity of sugar. It is not the quantity of the sugar that is important, but the trigger of the sweet taste by the sugar that creates the problem during this time when you are abstaining from sugar and giving up from sugar. The third thing that you do is keep away refined sugar and products made from refined sugar away from you, out of your reach. This will help you not make contact with sugar, make them very difficult to procure. in your house. So your refrigerator needs to be emptied of these sugary substances. And then family members who understand the importance of this shift, the benefits of this shift are immense. For those who have done it and those who have sustained it, have seen this in a very big way. Not only the body, but also the mind and the general sense of well being and the process of aging. All that is retarded, reversed, slowed when you give up these addictive substances. Then we come to sugar replacement. If not sugar, what to replace it with? So the question here is, artificial sweeteners, are they allowed? Our recommendation is artificial sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame are a complete no-no. They should be completely be left. What is found in the market with under various brand names is sucralose and aspartame, not to have. The better sweetener, again in very limited quantities, is stevia. So stevia is a plant and it's a plant-based sweetener. In fact, stevia leaves, if you soak them in water for a few hours, you will find that the water is very, very sweetened, and that water can be used to sweeten your food. So that is one which is permissible, I would say, or which is what we would be okay with, but that too in limited quantities. You can't add into each and every food, especially if you're a Gujarati, you will find that practically every single food article has loaded with sugar. So again, that is to be used only in very, very limited quantities. So this has got to do with artificial sweeteners. Then we have whole sweeteners, whole plant sweeteners. One of the whole plant sweeteners is date. Then you have grapes, currants. These sweeteners, even cashew is sweet. For those who have abstained from sugar for a good length of time, they will begin to feel the sweetness of cashew. And these are all replacements for refined sugar. We would avoid jaggery or khadi sakar, what we know. Again, they are refined forms, and potentially you will get back to your sugar if you consume jaggery or khadi sakar. So this is as far as sugar is concerned. Addictive value of sugar is immense. You can search our channel and see videos that have been made on sugar, and a much more detailed video is already available on the channel on how sugar is very addictive. So we would want to avoid that. Then we have some question. Okay. How can we replace use of milk in our diet? Dr. Parikh is asking on Instagram. So this is very interesting question. For those who give up milk and want to have milk in some or the other form, a whole lot of plant-based milk possibilities open up. What are the plant-based milk properties that open up? We have peanut milk, we have almond milk, we have cashew milk, we have soya milk, we have oat milk, we have rice milk, and coconut milk. How many milks? Nearly seven of them. Each one has their own flavor and can blend very well with your tea or coffee. So normally people said I don't mind giving up milk, but my biggest weakness is my morning tea. What do I do with that? So our recommendation is shift to either black tea, green tea. If you cannot shift to a herbal tea, and if you cannot give up your milk tea, then use 2 teaspoons of coconut milk or almond milk to make your tea. And so people come and tell, but they don't taste the same. Of course, they will be different because the substance is different. By and large, the taste is nearly the same. And remember, we are making a change. Every change will face resistance, but one needs to understand the value of this change. Reversing heart diseases, reversing diabetes, reversing your PCOD, reversing your metabolic syndrome by making a change in your diet and in your exercise is worth all your money. It is an investment that is made every day for your health. We all are aware of the investment that we make about our finances. But if you look at how the finances get used in the latter part of life, it's predominantly on health issues. And what are those terminal health issues? Lifestyle disorders. All that you have saved goes in large chunks towards the end of your life in controlling, treating complications of lifestyle disorders. It is better, more wiser, more prudent that make the change in the lifestyle, in the diet, in your exercise level, because that is the fundamental cause of these lifestyle disorders. Wrong food. Remember, the whole civilization can eat a food that is detrimental to your health, detrimental to the large population, very large population. Eating colas. Cola is completely sugar. Eating a white bread burger, eating a pizza with a base that is refined flour and cheese, extremely calorie dense foods to which we have got addicted to. Cheese is addictive as much as sugar is addictive, and milk is another very addictive substance. So, a very interesting part of milk that I will tell you again briefly is when milk enters your system in the stomach, the milk is broken down into its fragments called casomorphines. And casomorphines, the word morphine because they resemble morphine, they go and hit your brain, giving a sense of comfort. And that is why milk is addictive. And therefore, people find it difficult to give up on milk, dairy milk. So, these are some aspects of whole food and plant based diet. So, at our clinic, we have our dietitian who helps support people make a change in lifestyle to a whole food plant based diet. We have our physiotherapist who comes and consults people, guiding them for exercise. Remember, exercise is a huge, huge importance. We normally talk about diet, but exercise is something most neglected in our civilization. The benefits of exercise are massive. The type of exercise that you do is every type of exercise has a different role in your disease reversing process. People tell me, we have been walking. I've got diabetes, I walk. I walk for 30 minutes and that's about it. But all these walkers have not been able to make a significant shift in their diabetes or their hypertension or their heart disease. So we have the physiotherapist who will recommend the type of exercise that you have to do. While I don't want to say that walking is of complete zero value, but limited value. For those who are doing nothing, better to start walking. Those who are walking, you start weight training, start running. This is very important. So, expert guidance on exercise. Remember two things: your weight is determined by your diet, and your body type, your body shape is determined by your exercise. And both are very important in reversing lifestyle diseases. And the value of plant based, whole food, plant based diet goes beyond just lifestyle disorders. We have had conditions like migraines, thyroids, autoimmune diseases being helped by these changes in the diet. When should you make the change in diet? Should you wait till your sugar levels are high? Should you wait till you get the first blip of your heart blood pressure? Or should you wait till you get the first symptom of angina pectoris? My recommendation is start today. If you want to live a long, productive life, start today. Every day when you do it, it becomes your character. Mind that. When you do your exercises every day, they become a part of your lifestyle. And the day that you don't do your exercises, you crave to do exercise. This is of value, this is of education. This is what you have to educate yourself and educate your loved ones. Start early. Don't wait for the disease to come to you. These this lifestyle is a preventive lifestyle in a large way. Today the world is talking about preventing lifestyle disorders, preventing diabetes, preventing heart disease, not just reversing. We are talking about prevention. So this is what I had to say for today. If we have some more questions, I will take it up. Otherwise, we say goodbye and meet again after a few weeks with another very interesting topic. And while I end this uh, session, I would like to make a very interesting announcement, a very important announcement is the starting of Niramay, our low cost homeopathic treatment at our Paladi clinic every day from evening 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, where we have a panel of doctors all trained under me and still being trained to help and reach out to the masses. So do support this initiative. and we will soon come up with more from Niramay to reach out to the masses. But we will need your support for this, and it would be wonderful working together. So, having said this, we close today's session. Thank you so much, and we see you back after a few more weeks. एक मिनट है, मैं cover पे